Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Disney Cruise Line Show, coming to you from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined this week via Skype by my good friends, Ms. Denny Sunderly.
Hi there.
Mr. Corey Martin.
I'm just happy to be here.
Our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Ahoy, hoy.
And before we get started, just a reminder to everyone, the show is brought to you by DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com, and of which I am a part owner. And we have been reminding everyone, if you enjoy our content, especially during this time, obviously, if we're all doing this via Skype, it's still the COVID-19 lockdown, which has been particularly challenging for travel businesses, including mine. But if you enjoy our content and want to show your support, please consider booking your next Disney Cruise Line vacation with Dreams Unlimited Travel. You'll pay the same price as you pay Disney. You'll get the support of a really well-trained professional agent to help answer your questions. You'll get a shipboard credit up to $1,000, depending on the cost of your cruise. You'll get an exclusive gift basket from us that includes lots of stuff that you're going to find very useful on your cruise. All of that for the same price you'll pay Disney. You give up nothing. You pay nothing extra for it. We get paid from Disney through commissions. So if you're booking a Disney Cruise Line vacation, I would ask you to consider DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com the next time you book. With that said, today we are going to talk about one thing that would be a deal breaker for us if it left Disney Cruise Line. So it's another way of saying what our favorite thing on cruise line is, but something that we would be devastated or even say, okay, I'm not going back, if they took it off of a ship. I just thought it would be something a little different topic. So we're going to start out with Ms. Denny Sunderly.
All right. So mine is, it pertains specifically to the Dream and the Fantasy, so the newer ships. Mine would be Satellite Falls. So when I am on a cruise where I'm not working, so not so much the one we went on in February on the Dream, but I'm there to vacation, my goodness, it is in the adult area. It's up on deck. It's at the front of the ship. And there are it's like lounge chair heaven. They're nice, squishy lounge chairs. There are towels beautifully draped on the chairs. And all you need is a good book, and you're good to go. So I'll pile my favorite reading material if I'm currently reading a book or magazines or whatever in my little Castaway Club bag, and up I go to Satellite Falls. And they have a canopy, which is really nice. They have a windbreak along the back. It radiates out almost in a horseshoe shape. And they have taken one of the main satellites for the ship that you've got to have on a ship. And they've created a wading, it's not even a wading pool, it's a dipping pool almost. And around that, and they've created also a waterfall, a cascading waterfall that happens periodically off and on. And adults will just sit in there. You can order a drink if you want to. Bartenders come around, and it is just glorious. Now, the one thing about Satellite Falls is it also gets crowded. So either go later in the day. That's my favorite time to be up there, is kind of late afternoon when everybody is getting ready for the shows in the theater. They're going back to the room to get cleaned up. I like sitting there and waving at them as they leave, and I just stay there in my little lounge chair. So that's Satellite Falls for me all the way.
All right. What about you, Corey?
This might seem pretty broad, but it would have, like, for me right now, it would have to be the kids clubs. So I think what's set in this category, what sets Disney apart above and beyond the cleanliness and all that stuff, are the kids clubs. So if they got rid of those, I'd go on another ship for half the price. And I think the cost of the cruise line, with the quality of service you're getting in these kids clubs, and also the kids clubs don't only benefit parents, they also benefit those on the cruise that want to be away from kids, because the nicer these kids clubs are, the more kids are going to be packed in there, and less kids be running around the ship.
And that is definitely one of the things that, I tell people when, I tell them I've been on 32 or 33 Disney cruises and I don't have kids. Granted, it is part of what I do for a living, but I tell them, the way Disney has set everything up on these ships, most of the time, if you don't want to see kids, you don't have to. You've got the adults only area. They do a great job. The kids clubs are usually clustered together so that, it's usually on deck 5, where they have all the kids clubs, and they do a great job of managing that. And I think that's one of the things that people hear Disney, they think, oh, that's for kids. Now, granted, it is a very family-oriented cruise. So, I was just on a Carnival cruise the end of January, and,
very different.
And it was it was wonderful. We had a great time. We were on the Carnival Horizon, which is a newer ship. We had a phenomenal time, just very different than Disney. I can't compare the two. It's just two entirely different products. So I think that's especially for parents. I think that's, because it's also how many opportunities do you have as parents to put your kids someplace, allowing you to go off and kind of do things, and they're okay.
And especially if you're going off the ship, not to the top deck, to the bar or something to have some alone time, but if you're going on an excursion where you're taking an hour drive somewhere and then you're doing an excursion, hour drive back, you have to know that your kids are in great hands and that they're going to be entertained the entire time you're off that ship, because that's a big thing. You don't want to come back to kids having a miserable time. They'll never go there again. That's what happened in our kids didn't even do the kids clubs on Royal. They were with us the whole time. Damn it.
You love your kids, but you want a break. You want a break every so often. Craig, what about you?
Oh, I've got 5, I think. So I'm going.
Okay, you need to narrow it down to 1.
If we narrow it down to 1, this show will be over, and we're only at 7 minutes right now. It'll be the shortest show we put out.
You don't know where I'm going with this, do you? You don't. So you just have to trust me.
Okay. So I will say, I guess if I had to say 1 and stick with 1, I would say the theming in the rooms, just because to me that's still one of those aspects of Disney Cruise Line that really does set it apart, that it is a Disney cruise. I've been on Viking, I've been on Royal Caribbean, I've been on Princess. I feel like there's one more in there that I'm missing maybe, but in Disney, and even though there's been other staterooms that I thought have been more comfortable, larger, better touches on, there's something about the extra Disney touches on the Disney ships, like when you randomly get a little picture of Pirates of the Caribbean on there, and I know I'm that weirdo that I have my favorite Disney music quote that hangs above the couch in the staterooms. Like, you never know which one you're going to get, but if I don't have Candle on the Water when I walk into mine, I'm like, okay, it's just an okay cruise. And just the little touches, and I know I'm weird, but all the little touches in the room, like I would be so worried that now that we've seen how they've stripped out a lot of the theming in like Walt Disney World resorts, that one day they might look at the Disney Cruise Line ships and say, let's strip out a lot of that theming and go a little bit more minimalistic with it, go a little bit cleaner, and lose those touches. But that's why Disney Cruise Line is still such a big selling point for me, because it still has all of those aspects into it. So if they ever changed those staterooms and made them drastically different, I really would have to think about, is that something now that factors into the price of a Disney cruise for me?
Okay. No, that's fair. That's a fair, because that's what we're talking about ultimately, right? Is that these are expensive cruises, and the justification, at least from my standpoint, the justification for paying that is that there are things that I don't get anywhere else, right? It's kind of unique to Disney Cruise Line. So you talk about the kids clubs, you talk about the level of theming, you talk about something like Satellite Falls. Those are very unique things to Disney Cruise Line. And my choice here, my thing that I would be devastated if they ever got rid of it, is not unique to cruise ships in general, and it's a spa, right? The Senses Spa on any of the 4 ships. Although I prefer it, to be honest with you, I prefer the ones on the classic ships, the Magic and the Wonder, over. I think I prefer a lot of things on the Magic and the Wonder over the Dream and the Fantasy. Love them all, but the difference is, okay, well, let me start with this. They are all, on any cruise that you are on, pretty much, they're all run by the same company. They're all run by Steiner Spas. But I will tell you, and they're all trained and staffed by Steiner Spas. I don't know. Maybe it's that, on Carnival pays Steiner less, and so the staff is not quite as good. And I found this on Royal. I found it on Norwegian. I found it on Carnival. It's the same spa menu, but the quality isn't there. First of all, on a lot of them, they've done this. It looked like the spas were designed by Apple because everything is white. Everything is white. And that's not relaxing to me. I don't get this feeling of relaxation. In fact, maybe I'm alone in this. It induces anxiety. It's just like everything is so bright and in your face. That's not relaxing to me. The way they've designed the spas on Disney, it's just warm and it's it's relaxing, right? You'd think that's what a spa needs to be. It needs to be warm and relaxing.
I always feel so dirty going into a spa because they're so clean and everything smells so nice and everything. I feel so dirty, like I'm not worthy.
Well, I'm glad that's one less person I have to worry about being in front of me for a spa treatment. So I don't know. I found that the level of service on the Disney ships in their spas is better than most of the other ones. I'm not going to say it's across the board. I've had some wonderful treatments on other ships, but the spa is a big place for me. And that's where I'm going to spend a good amount of my time, whether it's getting a facial or getting, a deep tissue massage or, any other number of treatments. The gentleman's shave and facial, that's something I do on every cruise I go on. And I have not had one experience where it's been anywhere near as good as what I got when I get that treatment on Disney. It is the same treatment on every ship. I don't know why the quality seems better on Disney. And so for me, it is definitely the spa. That if they took that out, I don't know that Disney would be worth it as much to me. Now, with that being said, we have said these are the things that would be deal breakers for us. What do they need to do better? I didn't tell you guys this before we started because I wanted to hit you with a curveball. What do they need to do better, Corey?
From somebody that likes to keep it going, staying out a little bit later, I think maybe I know it's tough for them to do because there aren't a lot of people that want to stay out late on a Disney Cruise Line, but everything shuts down at 12. So it would be nice to have something.
Everything shuts down at 10.
You're right. So maybe something a little bit later, a little bit of nightlife in there, a little crank it up a notch.
Well, I mean, that was definitely something I noticed. I was just mentioning I was on the horizon, the Carnival Horizon in January. And, you know, the vast majority of cruises I've done have been on Disney. So I'm kind of used to, you know, the 10 p.m. bands being Earl Dead and the Geriatrics on a Disney ship.
With one person on the dance floor. You know.
With one person, one drunk lady on the dance floor. I got stories. But then on Carnival, it was just entirely different. Every single venue was hopping. And people weren't like stupid drunk and making fools out of themselves or anything like that. Everybody's having a really good time. Whether you wanted to just go hang out and play board games, or there was a piano bar, or there was always something going on. And I really appreciated that. Not that I don't drink. But, you know, my partner does, my friends do. So,
right.
You know, we were able to go like do all sorts of stuff. Plus, there was a casino, which, yay. So,
yeah,
no,
I always feel like, okay, go back to the room, watch some TV, whatever's on TV. But, you know, I'm in that Disney Cruise Line mindset where it's less about what am I going to do for the rest of the night and start preparing of what I'm going to do tomorrow. So it's like, okay, after dinner, after the show, it's pretty much that's it. After the last comic show, Magician, it's pretty much over.
Well, and the worst part is, to go off on you with that, is they do keep the one dance centric area always open, whether if it's like Fathoms or whatever they call them on the other ships. And it's okay that they keep it open till 2, but it's the one that usually has like the worst beer selection. They'll have like 2 tap handles. So it'd be like Bud Light and Budweiser. And then it's just like all liquor and maybe like 1 bottle of wine that's been opened for 3 or 4 days at that point and just tastes stale. Like when they always have the one, like whether it's 687 or O'Gill's, or they have that nice, relaxing, comfortable one that should be open till 2 that has plenty of options, and you could just relax and really, really wind down at the end of the night. So they don't even choose the right ones to keep open. That just makes no sense.
Yeah, the one like you said, the one they keep open, it's cavernous. So when there's 10 people in there, it nobody's going to do anything. So it's keep the different other ones open. Craig, I think you and I like closed one down just playing chess. You're like, y'all can stay.
Yep. 687, play chess all night.
Yeah, it's like Club Sadness. Yeah, I guess I completely agree. Denny, what about you? What can they do better?
So back in the day when we began taking Disney cruises, all you had were the Magic and Wonder to choose from. And so the terminal at Port Canaveral could seat everyone, just about. This is back before you had to, sign up for your port arrival time, all that 9 yards. But once the newer ships were online, those seats, I always was somebody who, we came down from Maryland, we started off traveling the same day, and that just became crazy because you are ready to stick, forks in your eyes by the time dinner comes around, because you're so exhausted and the kids are so exhausted and everything else. So we started coming in the day before, flying down the day before, staying near the airport, and then taking the Disney transportation over to the port. But I'd want to be on that first bus out because I wanted to savor all the time of being at Port Canaveral in the terminal. It's a beautiful terminal. Who wouldn't? However, with the newer ships, it just became so very crowded, even with the port arrival times, stupid crowded in that building. And I know it's slated to be rehabbed and be worked on. So it's something that they know is an issue right now. But last May, my husband and I just had to stand, and we still showed up at our port arrival time. Like, it wasn't that we were there egregiously early or anything. That beautiful building is just that. It's beautiful. So I would say there's got to be more seating. You know, I'm sure they've got an amazing plan that's coming up, but that's hard when you start off this cruise that you've saved, you know, for so long to go on, and you get there and it is just a jam-packed moment, and you're just having to stand for an hour or an hour and a half or two until it's time to board the ship. It's less than magical at times. So,
okay. For me, I did 3 Disney cruises between January of 2019 and February of 2020, and they were near flawless. Honestly, I mean, I always worry that if you're only watching this show, if you just found us and you're only watching this show, you're going to think I'm like effusive about Disney. Go watch some of our other shows, okay? I will absolutely call out anything I don't like. And it feels weird to me with a product like anything with Disney to not criticize them on any number of things, because I certainly have plenty to pick from at Walt Disney World. But I don't with Disney Cruise Line, except one glaring thing for me that I noticed on all 3 sailings that I did. They need to do a much better job of keeping kids out of the adult area. The adult area is sectioned off, and there are signs there, 18 and over only. Yet, almost on every one of those cruises, at some point in time, I saw a kid in the adults pool and watched cast members walk past them and say nothing until I stopped them and said, "Excuse me, 18 and over. Get the kid out of here." Not that I don't like kids. I just don't like your kids. Okay? Yeah. I don't like your kids. You think they're adorable. I don't. And I don't wish any harm or anything, but when I'm on that ship and I'm in the adults only area, I want to be in an adults only area. If I wanted to be around the kids, I'd go hang out at the family pool.
Julie and I say that all the time. If we put the kids in the kids club, we'll go to the adult area, and then when we see kids, we're like, damn it. We put our kids away. Let's get away from kids.
I get that Disney doesn't want to, come across as too harsh or anything like that, but rules are rules. And they're not rules for other people's kids. They're rules for your kids. Stay out. And it's fine. Look, sometimes you're going up to the spa, right? Mom's going to go up to the spa to make an appointment or something. She brings her son or daughter with her. That's fine. You're walking through. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about mom and dad decide to come sun themselves in the adults area and think it's okay for Junior to hang out with you. No, go to the family pool. Go to the family pool. That's my biggest complaint. They've done so well improving the food in the main dining rooms. The service, I don't think that service has ever faltered. I don't think in the 20 years I've been covering Disney Cruise Line, I've really had too many occasions to fault the service. And not that it's just good service. It's phenomenal. It's old school Disney service. It's incredible when I'm on that ship. And again, I've been sailing Disney Cruise Line since 1999, I think. When I'm on that ship and a server that I had 8 years ago that I haven't seen since comes over, says hello, remembers me, says hello by name. And that's not just happened once. That's happened multiple times. So it's not like they have some computer where they can take a picture of you. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So, it's touches like that. But I think that's for me one place where they have to tighten up. Before we wrap, anybody else have anything they want to add?
I did not share mine. So
well, let's okay.
I'll be quick with
Greg.
it. I would say mine would be, I'm going to call it overarching entertainment, whether you want to call that the shows or you want to call it character meet and greets, or even if you want to call it specialty cruises. I feel like they're all due for an update, and then tweaks and adjustments with it. Like, I love the specialty cruises, whether it's Christmas, Halloween. Corey and I got to do the Marvel one last year, and it was actually, the day at sea was pretty awesome. I would love to do a Star Wars one, but I feel like they're not taking maximum advantage of that and making a Pixar day at sea and really exploiting more of the characters and making more of these specialty cruises to bring back in more people that maybe are looking for something fresh and different. The same way with the shows. The shows are getting old and stale. Time to really revamp it, besides revamping one show on each of the cruises. And with the characters, I love the characters and their costumes, but I feel like unless you're on a 7-night cruise or a 5-night, it's really, really difficult to meet all the characters you might want to in their special cruise line outfits, because these lines get pretty busy. And like, even on the last cruise I did, I think it was a 4-night cruise, and I think we missed out on one of the main characters in terms of getting our pictures with them, just because the lines were so crazy all the time. So I just feel like there's definitely stuff that needs to be updated, but then they need to tweak and adjust along the way there too with other entertainment offerings.
Yeah, I'll agree with that too. We've talked about this before. You know, every one of the ships does in the Walt Disney Theater will do one feature show, right? It's Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, I believe Aladdin is done. And these are, I'm telling you, like Broadway caliber, truly Broadway caliber. The rest of them suck. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. And it's not that the cast is terrible, because clearly they're not. Right. So like when I've seen the Frozen one on the Wonder. I saw when we did the Alaska sailing last August. I saw Beauty and the Beast on the 4-night we just did on the Dream, and jaw-droppingly good. The singing, the acting, the dancing, the sets, the special effects, jaw-droppingly good. And then the rest of it is just bad. So the cast is talented. The cast can deliver. So the cast isn't letting us down. Disney is.
I know when I played Tarzan on Disney Cruise Line, we worked on butts
God
off.
in heaven. God in heaven.
Oh, dear.
All right. That, folks, is going to do it for our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you again next week with another episode of the Disney Cruise Line Show. Stay safe, everybody, and have a great week.